The views expressed are solely those of the speaker and not necessarily those of Paltalk.com, AVM software, or its advertisers.
News Talk is online. News Talk Online is a production of Paltalk.com, the largest multimedia interactive program on the internet with more than 4 million unique users. I'm your host, Gary Baumgarten. We're on demand on iTunes, on demand on YouTube. We're distributed by CRN Digital Talk Radio to cable systems serving an additional 12 million households. I've been on the phone 2 or 3 times today with my guest PR person. And they gave us a backup phone number to call, and they have the number in the studio for Boaz to patch them through. And Boaz has been calling and can't get through. They've been calling you, Boaz, and can't get through. And I know we have a house full of people here who want to talk to Concetta Bertoldi, who is a medium who talks to dead people and who is the author of the book, Do Dead People Watch You Shower? And other questions you've all but been dying to ask a medium. Hopefully we will get her on the line in the next second or two. In the meantime, I usually can tread water and talk about a subject, but this one I cannot. I have no personal knowledge on what it's like to talk to dead people. I've read the book, or most of the book, and I could almost pretend like I know what I'm talking about, but I certainly do not know what I'm talking about. And so I can't do this, but I have to do a show. So what are we going to do? I think what we will do, and do you have the phone number for the folks at Krupp? Could you call them and try to straighten this mess out, please? Tanya's going to try as well for us, Boaz. But in the meantime, let's talk about yesterday's primary in New Hampshire, and then if our guest joins us, we'll talk about that as well. Let's talk about yesterday's primary in New Hampshire, and I guess, well, I don't know whether Boaz is going to be able to do the screening while he's trying to affect the phone patch or not. This is going to be pretty fun. But here's what's very interesting about the primary yesterday in New Hampshire. The polls all said that Barack Obama was going to win double digits, the Democratic nomination. Now, it wasn't just the news media who believed this. It was the campaigns as well. Barack Obama was walking through New Hampshire, kind of like he had already been coronated in that state. When he held rallies, they had to turn people away. There was a mile-long line at the door for some of the rallies, and the fire marshal had to come and turn people away. When Hillary did, she didn't create as much excitement. Even Hillary Clinton thought she was going to lose. So much so that yesterday, prior to the end of the vote, her campaign announced a shakeup at the top because they weren't doing well. They didn't do well in Iowa, and they weren't doing well in New Hampshire, according to the polls. And lo and behold, not only did Barack Obama not win by double digits, but Hillary Clinton came in first. Nobody seemingly was more surprised about this than Hillary Clinton. You know, we hear this all the time. The only poll that matters is the one, at the election, the vote of the people. That's what they say. But who are they who say this? They who say this are the candidates who are low in the polls, because the candidates do their own independent polling, and they come up with the same, within a margin of error, results as the independent vote polling does for the news media. So what's going on here? How is this even possible? And should we be relying on the polls as we cover these elections? Now, I know there are people waiting in queue to talk, and I know they're waiting in queue to talk to Concetta Bertoldi. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to go to you and ask you to talk about this issue while we're waiting for Concetta to hopefully join us. If this is not something you want to talk about, take your hand down and then put it back up when we have Concetta. If you would like to talk about this and about talking to the dead, leave your hand up. We will give you a second chance to talk. Okay? So, let's start with Anya, who's joining us from Ireland. Anya, welcome to News Talk Online on Paltalk.com.
Thank you, Gary. I was really surprised at Hillary getting the vote. I thought the other fellow was going to walk it. But I would love to see a woman president of the United States, particularly the Clinton family, as they have been extremely nice to the Irish people. And I understand Mr. Clinton is coming back to Ireland at Easter time. So I'll pass the mic back to you, Gary. That's my comment.
Okay, unfortunately I didn't hear your comment because I had to go out and help the person who's trying to get Concetta Bertoldi on our air. And he's calling me on my cell phone. This is really craziness, but I understand that we have Concetta coming up on the line. Thank goodness for that. She has an easier time talking to the dead than she has talking to the living on Paltalk. Let me tell you a little bit about Concetta. She's a noted medium who talks to the dead. She's the author of the new book, Do Dead People Watch You Shower? She will answer that question and more, such as, can the dead travel back in time? Do the dead have emotions? Do the dead attend their own funerals? We'll take a couple of readings from some of you, from a couple of you who are anxious to know how your dead relatives are doing. She can't talk about that with everybody, because we don't want to drain her energy completely. But she will take a couple of readings, and she's gracious enough to do that for us today, and I thank her for that. So let's get right to the first question, and welcome Concetta Bertoldi to News Talk Online on Paltalk.com. And I presume that sometimes you have an easier time reaching the dead than you do reaching me.
Yes, hi Gary, how are you?
I am terrific. Thank you for doing this. Let's get right to the premise of the title of the book. Are my dead loved ones watching what I'm doing in the shower and during my most intimate moments?
Yes, they are, but I wouldn't want you to worry about it because they're in the energy form. They're not like peeping Toms, so they're not looking through the windows. They have a completely different view than when they were in the flesh. So I have to tell you, it entertains me because people don't mind that God is watching them in all places. They just don't want their grandmother to.
Yes, I presume the grandmother analogy is used by many. I mean, that's what I'm thinking of. Of all the people that I know who have passed on before me, I think of my grandmother as the one I wouldn't want to disappoint the most. Tell me, let's start from the beginning, because this is a very interesting, I have your book.